Welcome to the very first episode of the StrongHer Collective Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the traditional goals of women's fitness and how that is actually hurting us as women. And then we'll talk about the solution, building muscle. We'll go over the 5 reasons you should care about building muscle, and trust me, you aren't going to want to miss this. I'm Morgan. I'm a personal trainer, yoga teacher, and recovering academic who is obsessed with strength training research and helping women feel powerful in their bodies. I created StrongHer Collective because I believe that fitness belongs to everybody, and because the stories we've been told about women's fitness for generations desperately needed to change. All of my work is evidence-based and informed by scientific research, and all of the references for this episode are linked in the show notes in case you want to go deeper. Before we jump in, if you're interested in strength training, women's health, or redefining fitness culture, make sure you hit the subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Let's get into it. For generations, women were taught to exercise to be smaller, not stronger. If you grew up flipping through women's health and fitness magazines before around 2015, you probably remember phrases like drop 2 sizes, tone your problem areas, or bikini body workout. Phrases like this were everywhere. And they weren't random either. A content analysis of women's health magazine covers between 2006 and 2011 found that the largest captions, so the ones meant to grab your attention first when the magazine is on the shelf, were consistently objectifying and appearance-based. And these covers were just one piece of a bigger cultural story, one that tied thinness to health, beauty, and even morality, something that we'll talk about in future episodes. That story shaped what women were told fitness should look like. Lots of cardio, light weights, ladylike workouts that toned without bulking. Essentially, exercise to firm, tone, sculpt, and above all, shrink. I walked past a bar studio just last night, a big chain. I'm sure that you know this one. And the writing on their front window said lift, tone, burn. It was kind of like a border on the edge of the window. And I'm not sure if lift is referring to lifting weights or lifting parts of your body, but my brain went straight to the latter. But tone and burn are definitely women's fitness buzzwords made up by the fitness industry to inspire you to buy their products. Toning is the lady branded way of describing the process of building muscle, and depending on the person, losing fat so that the muscles appear. The dudes call it getting ripped. It's the same thing. You can do it with 1 million lightweight repetitions, but you can do it a lot faster with big, heavy weights and progressive overload. The burning sensation is caused by a buildup of metabolites in your muscles that have not had a chance to clear out of the tissues. The buildup happens in about 20 to 30 seconds when you're working hard. Metabolites are chemical byproducts that happen when your body produces energy to move. The most common one that you might recognize is lactic acid. Once you stop and you give your body a chance to recover, it quickly clears all of these metabolites out of the muscle tissues, and the burning sensation passes. Metabolites and this burning sensation are not an indication of whether or not your workout is effective. They aren't causing more muscle soreness the next day. That's tiny tears in your muscle. And they aren't causing muscle growth. That's your body repairing the tiny tears. And look, I'm not here to demonize cardio or traditionally feminine forms of exercise like bar or Pilates. These forms of exercise can be joyful, empowering, and deeply meaningful, and they can leave us stronger, healthier bodies. I always say that the best form of exercise is the exercise that you enjoy doing, or at least don't hate. If you love bar, don't stop. The problem arises when we think that these are the only form of exercise for us because of our gender, or when we use these forms of exercise to reach some sort of perfect or ideal body. For me, thinness absolutely drove a lot of my exercise choices in my teens and 20s. I didn't question it. I did lots of spin classes and ran long distances, hoping to burn the maximum number of calories possible. And I did lots of yoga sculpt classes to honestly tone and lift the parts of my body that I hated. Even when I started resistance training in my 30s, my heaviest weights were about 25 pounds. I didn't even think I could try something heavier. I didn't think I was supposed to. It wasn't until a coach literally handed me much heavier dumbbells that something shifted for me. As I became more experienced with heavy weights, resistance training started to rewire how I thought about exercise, my body, and what strength could mean. So why is the exercise to be thin or to achieve an ideal body a problem? The way I see it, there are two main issues. First, when the purpose of exercise is to change how our body looks, the message is that something is wrong with our body as it is. For women, that usually means shrinking. Exercise becomes punishment, calories to earn, flaws to fix, body parts to tone or sculpt. Movement can then become tied to shame, dissatisfaction, or punishment instead of confidence and self-love. Second, when shrinking becomes the goal, we miss out on the incredible health benefits of building and maintaining muscle, benefits that women especially need. Here's why. Women start with less overall muscle mass than men, and after age 30, adults are losing 3 to 8% of their muscle every decade unless we intentionally strength train. This decline in muscle can accelerate even more after age 60. So let's talk about why building muscle matters, and honestly, why it's one of the most important long-term investments that you can make in your health. Muscle gives us functional independence, getting in and out of the car, bending down to tie your shoe, carrying groceries, climbing into a kayak on a windy day, or hiking up a mountain trail. Muscle is what moves your body. Muscle also predicts health and longevity. In a 2022 meta-analysis, researchers synthesized findings from 57 scientific studies. The meta-analysis encompassed 42,000 participants with an age ranging from about 50 to about 85, and about 40% of the sample were female. The researchers found that sarcopenia, the loss of muscle mass and strength, is significantly associated with increased mortality risk. Basically, the more muscle you have, the longer and healthier you are likely to live. In contrast, the less muscle you have, the more likely you are to die for any reason. Muscle also supports your brain health. We don't fully understand the mechanisms yet, but studies have shown an association between muscle loss and cognitive decline. For example, in a 2022 Canadian longitudinal study of people between the ages of 65 and 86, researchers found that participants with low muscle mass experienced a more significant decline in executive function over a 3-year period compared to those with normal muscle mass. Executive function is a set of cognitive processes that help us plan, focus attention, remember instructions, and juggle multiple tasks successfully. It's essentially the brain's management system, allowing us to control our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions to achieve goals. Low muscle mass was associated with a greater reduction in executive function scores, even after adjusting for various confounding factors. Well, this is a correlation, and correlation does not equal causation. Maintaining muscle mass could support cognitive function for older population. Muscle isn't just for strength or movement, it's actually an endocrine organ as well. That means that your muscles release chemical messengers similar to hormones that travel through your bloodstream and communicate with the rest of your body. When your muscles contract during exercise, they release signaling molecules called myokines. These myokines talk to your brain, your liver, your bones, your immune system, pretty much everything. They help regulate metabolism, reduce inflammation, and keep the entire body in balance. Muscle also plays a role in blood sugar regulation. Your muscles are one of the primary places your body stores and uses glucose. When you move, your muscles pull glucose out of your bloodstream for energy, and the more muscles you have, the more capacity you have to clear glucose efficiently. Over time, this improves insulin sensitivity and helps stabilize blood sugar levels, which is why resistance training is so protective against metabolic conditions like type 2 diabetes. In her book, Forever Strong, Dr. Gabrielle Lyon talks about how when her patients build muscle, it reduces their cravings for junk food. So when we say muscle is an endocrine organ, we're really saying that muscle is active, intelligent tissue that affects your whole body health, not just how strong you feel in the gym. And finally, building muscle builds confidence and body autonomy. My background in academia is in education. This means that I did a lot of social science research, which includes the type of research where we ask people to tell us their stories. This is called qualitative research, and it's not considered as objective as explaining a phenomenon through measurements. However, we can learn a lot about the human experience by talking to people. One of my favorite studies is qualitative, and the researchers explored the relationship between trauma survivors and weightlifting. Participants spoke about how weightlifting helps them develop a better sense of body autonomy, that lifting weights made them feel stronger, not only in their bodies, but also in their minds, how it helps them calm and ground them, and more. One participant said, quote, "It feels like the resiliency I feel in my body when I lift carries over into the resiliency that I feel in my mind." You don't have to be a survivor of trauma to experience benefits like this. Strength training teaches you can do hard things you didn't think you were capable of. And that confidence doesn't stay in the gym. It follows you into your relationships, your boundaries, your work, your life. At the end of the day, building muscle isn't about chasing an ideal body. It's about expanding your life. It's about strength, independence, confidence, long-term health. It's about shifting the story from shrinking ourselves to supporting ourselves. And that's what StrongHer Collective is all about. If this resonated with you, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and share it with another woman who deserves to feel powerful in her body. This helps StrongHer Collective reach more people, and I'm so grateful you're here for the beginning of this movement. If you have questions related to women's fitness, DM me on Instagram. I'm at strongher.collective, and I might make you an episode in the future. If you are inspired to start lifting weights, or if you are looking for a workout buddy, I'm your girl. I regularly publish workouts that you can do with minimal equipment at home or at the gym. Find those on the StrongHer Collective Substack. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, let's get stronger together.